Nord report the best information in the global internet. I encourage you to subscribe and like and invite you to watch. In another incident in the Russian capital, a drone struck the same building in Moscow that was targeted last Sunday. Many drones tried to enter Moscow's airspace but were neutralized by our air defense. One of them hit the same high-rise building in our city again. The facade on the 17th floor was destroyed, conveyed the mayor. The Russian army maintains that it succeeded in shooting down the drones heading for Moscow, but one of them, which managed to evade air defenses, hit the building targeted again the previous Sunday. Russia's defense ministry asserted on its profile on Telegram that the armed forces stopped a terrorist attack by the Kiev regime, shooting down 2 drones in suburban areas west of the city center. Another drone was eliminated by radio-electronic equipment and then, after losing control, crashed in the area of a non-residential building complex in Moscow City, the ministry reported. Moscow's mayor assured that no one was injured as a result of the incident. The attack was juxtaposed by a Russian official with the tragic events of September 11th. Maria Zakharova, spokeswoman for the foreign ministry, compared the techniques used by Kiev to those used by Al-Qaeda against the World Trade Center. Speaking to the Soloviev Live TV channel, she said the situation resembled that of September 11th, when the attack on the Twin Towers resulted in massive loss of life. But the methods used were identical. She stressed that Moscow's city district is a civilian area where offices and a business center are mainly located alongside a large residential complex and civilian administrative buildings that are not related to military operations. She noted that there is now a similarity in the situation, suggesting that history is repeating itself. A man, so far unknown, caused a fire at the door of the military recruiting office in St. Petersburg, after which he rammed a gate on Tchaikovsky Street in the city center with his car. The information was released by the press service of the city's Central District Administration. According to initial reports, the perpetrator set fire to the front door of the military recruitment center and then tried to ram through the arched gates with his vehicle. The fire, which engulfed one cell of the building, has now been brought under control. The press service indicated that there was minimal damage at the recruiting office. The man was detained by law enforcement authorities who are now trying to establish his identity. The man reportedly received a phone call from an FSB officer named Kolesnikov, who allegedly suggested that he set fire to the military recruitment center in order to obtain some documents related to Ukraine. Operational services are still on the scene. An inspection of the perpetrator's car is planned. Based on preliminary data provided by Kharkiv Region Police Chief Volodymyr Timoshko, Russia carried out an attack on Kharkiv using Shahed drones. There were at least 2 strikes. One took place on a vocational school building and the other on the central part of the city. As a result of the attack, about half of the 3-story vocational school building was destroyed. Suspilny Kharkiv correspondent reports 2 floors of the central building collapsed. The vocational school building was empty at the time of the attack, while in the center of Kharkiv, 1 man was injured. His condition is currently being assessed by medics. Timoshko's information suggests that Russia attacked Kharkiv using 6 to 7 drones. This thesis is one of the investigators' assumptions. Russia is testing an air defense system. The places hit by the drones were not military targets or places of concentration of armed forces, Volodymyr Timoshko confirmed. Ukraine's armed forces claim that a Russian sabotage unit attempted to infiltrate into the Chernihiv region. Yesterday, an attempt by a hostile sabotage and reconnaissance group to penetrate the Ukrainian border in the Chernihiv region was blocked, the commander of the Combined Armed Forces of Ukraine reported. Russia says a Ukrainian attack on Moscow naval vessels in Black Sea waters has been thwarted, Russia's defense ministry reported. 3 naval drones attacked 2 ships anchored southwest of Sevastopol before being neutralized, according to state news agency TASS. The warships were in the area to monitor the movement of other ships, it noted. Last week, the ministry announced that one of its ships had destroyed 2 Ukrainian drones in a similar area. and in June it claimed that Kiev had unsuccessfully tried to attack a warship with 6 high-speed drones. Ukrainian officials have not issued an official response to the allegations. However, Ukraine recently dismissed accusations of attacking civilian ships in the Black Sea made by the Russian Defense Ministry. A senior advisor to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, Mikhailo Podolyak, announced that such claims by Russian officials are made up and have no basis in reality. He stressed that Ukraine has not conducted, is not conducting, and does not intend to conduct attacks against civilian ships or any other civilian targets. The Russian Defense Ministry maintains that it thwarted a Ukrainian drone attack on civilian commercial vessels overnight. Additionally, Russia's defense ministry asserted that they had prevented an attack on 2 of their warships in the Black Sea, but Podolyak did not address the allegation. The head of the Russian military staff, General Valery Gerasimov, has visited the front line in the Zaporizhia area, the Russian Defense Ministry said Tuesday. The ministry relayed on its Telegram channel that Gerasimov inspected the command post of the grouping of forces headed toward Zaporizhia, using the Russian notation of that name. During the visit to the command post, the chief of the general staff received a report from the commander of the grouping, General Alexander Romanchuk, regarding the current situation, the enemy's actions, and the performance of Russian military forces in the tactical direction of Oryakov, Russian Orikhiv, the communique stated. It was not immediately clear when exactly Gerasimov arrived at the command post. CNN could not independently confirm his presence in the Zaporizhia region in southern Ukraine. The defense ministry added that during the inspection, Gerasimov stressed the need for timely reconnaissance of the enemy, the initiation of preventive attacks against him, and the conduct of counter-battery warfare. Jake Sullivan, National Security Advisor at the White House, plans to participate in peace negotiations on the Ukraine conflict to be held in Saudi Arabia in the coming week, U.S. administration officials said. Ukraine is taking the helm in the dialogue, which is expected to involve Western and developing countries. Russia is not expected to take part in the discussions. The Ukrainian goal is for the talks to lead to the establishment of general rules for ending the conflict, and a peace summit is expected later this year, at which global leaders will commit to supporting those rules, U.S. officials conveyed. The meetings taking place in Saudi Arabia are the second in a series of meetings organized by Andriy Yermak, head of the Office of the President of Ukraine. The inaugural talks took place earlier this year in Copenhagen. The choice of Saudi Arabia as the venue for the talks is partly dictated by the country's relations with China, a U.S. official explained. While he does not expect China to participate in the talks, U.S. officials have publicly encouraged China in recent months to take a constructive role in resolving the conflict in Ukraine, although there has been no indication that China is taking any active steps toward peace. I stressed that we would be satisfied if China would take a constructive role with other countries in pursuit of a just peace, consistent with the principles of the UN Charter, Secretary of State Antony Blinken stated in Beijing in June. The Ukrainian Prosecutor General's office has reported that a doctor has died as a result of a Russian attack on a medical facility in Kherson. The doctor, whose identity has not been disclosed, died from shrapnel injuries, and nursing staff were injured. Data on the number of casualties is still being determined. The hospital and vehicles sustained damage, the release noted. The Attorney General has initiated an investigation, and his office announced that the attack was a violation of the rules of war. Priority measures are currently being implemented to punish the crime committed by the military of an aggressive country. Russian forces conducting offensive actions in Donetsk and Luhansk regions. Ukrainian military had 40 combat engagements with Russian forces east to Berestov of Kharkiv region and near Novoselivsky of Luhansk region, Mariinka and Pobyeda, Staromayorska, said the General Staff of Armed Forces of Ukraine in the morning report. At Sivershchina and Slobozhanchina directions, Russian army shelled Senkivka, Turia, Bleshnya, Bukki of Chernihiv region, Mefodiivka, Setna, Starakova, Maritsia, Stepok and Ryazny of Sumy region, and Udi, Veterinarna, Staritsia, Vovchansk, Nesterna, and Budarki of Kharkiv region. Russian aviation conducted airstrikes at Stepny of Sumy region and Udi of Kharkiv region. The Russian army hit Pershetrovnevo in the Kharkiv region with 2 aerial bombs around 11 a.m. said Suspolny head of the local military administration Tertishny. 1 person was killed and 1 wounded. After the machines flying over Białowieża were spotted by local residents, the Armed Forces Operational Command is reassuring, saying Polish airspace has not been violated. The military confirms that the helicopters did not invade Polish territory, adding that Belarus had previously informed of the planned flights. Poland's armed forces guarantee that none of the machines crossed the Polish border, stressing that they had previously received information from the Belarusian side about air patrols being conducted near the Polish border. It was during one of them that residents of Białowieża could spot the machines. Based on the information gathered, the machines seen are believed to be 1 helicopter and 1 drone. Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko has made taunts about Poland in the context of the presence of Russian mercenaries close to the Polish border, which is also the border with a NATO country. He expressed the opinion that Warsaw should be grateful to him for keeping these fighters under control. Belarusian news agency Belta reported Lukashenko's words, according to which Poles should pray that we control Wagner soldiers and provide them with care. Continuing, he added that without us, they would sneak through and destroy Rzeszów and Warsaw in a big way. So they should not make accusations against me. They should thank me.